So this is how you can actually hire a top sales rep, like a top tier sales rep. And this is not the usual where it's staffing agencies or anything like that. It's actually doing ads to these sales reps for your business. How you do this specifically is, of course, how you do with any single offer that you have currently. So let's say you have a closer and you want to close someone onto your offer. You have that line of VSL in the application. The same thing, you DQ some people get on book a call. It's different with the sales rep because there's DQs and then there's people that are qualified. After that, you have another process where you screen them where it's like, okay, send me a loom, send me this, send me that, let me see your face, like let me do this for me right now. You can have set questions, and after that, boom, they get to the second phase where you basically get on a call with them, tell them, hey, like this is what you do, this is the basically what we want from you, and if everything looks good, do you want to work with us or no? And also screen them a bit more, understanding them how they talk on call, how they actually, resonate, what their vision is, and all that. Once you're able to do that, boom, you hire them. And then once you're able to do that on scale, you understand, you track, you have these pixels where you can retarget people saying, okay, after this pixel, we want to target people like this. And then you target people over and over again, and then you build up a pipeline where people are coming to you, sales reps are coming to you because they know that you have a good offer and you're actively looking for sales reps. And if you continue doing this, you can have 30 sales reps and actually have 38 players because you're scaling to such high lengths. So just look at it like that. You have to break it down into numbers where, let's say you're trying to make $5 million a month, you have to have like 30 sales reps. Each sales rep makes $20,000 to $30,000 a month in commissions. They'll work for you for longer. So if you continue doing that, where you can easily scale, you easily have these people, these sales reps, boom, you can do so much with that. But these are just hypothetical numbers. So look, the more questions you have, the more intent, right? The higher intent these applicants will be. Because, for example, I was a sales rep before. The more questions there was more friction. I was like, dude, why am I getting asked these questions? If it was an offer where they're making $100K a month, I'm like, I'm not answering these questions. But if they're making $1 million per month, I'm like, okay, I'm asking. I'll put my head down and ask these questions. So the more things you have, the more people actually basically justify to themselves that this is a good offer. So the more information you have for them, the more information they'll have for you, and then the more information they can give you, as well as the more information you can actually extract from them. So that way you can actually see who's the best fit for your offer. If you continue doing that, you can easily make more money. Of course, these are hypothetical. You can easily get more closers. You can easily do anything, but it's also implementing it and just testing these strategies. So none of these claims are going to be like, foolproof, guaranteed, none of that. I have to make this very specific where it's like, you have to test this out for sure. The more tests, the more data, the more ways you can actually implement this. But yeah, so look, you have to filter. Like only the best make it through. Like because you filter so much, these applicants basically come in piping hot closers who are very bought into your vision because they know that you're going through this process for them, so that way they can make the most amount of commission. So if you continue doing this, you continue actually having the sales reps come to you and you're basically filtering them out before they even get on call with you, they'll actually respect you for that. Same thing with this, like let's say for example, a prospect, if they get filtered out and then at the end they're like, maybe this is not for me, they knew they saved you time as well as themselves time. Same thing with sales reps. They're like, okay, they know how to actually filter me out as a closer. I can guarantee their marketing is on point as well. So you basically show them right away, like, okay, these guys are legit. Like they can actually make me money. They can actually make me the commission I want. So that way you can actually get the person that you want, the sales rep who can work with you for a long term and because you have the vision. You have the vision of always scaling. So that's what you have to do. Look, of course, you have to test compliances before you spend time on calls. You have to make sure that they're actually there. You have to give them something, as well as just make sure that they're being honest with you, right? And you can easily say that because, for example, for me, if someone gives me a question, I can easily answer it because on my head I know what I need to answer. I need to make sure I'm proving myself, but at the same time giving them value. So these people want to make sure that you're giving value. One, yes, but the second thing is actually making sure that, they are on point. Because you can't have these filler words where okay, well, yeah, then right away, they're bullshitting. Like, for example, whenever I, like right now, whenever I actually just don't know what to say, I say, and then I just pause. Pausing is better. Because, for example, let's say they give you a question like, okay, what do you do at the end of 30 minutes? like the end of day, you have to do a CRM report where you have to, for example, you have to ask we ask these questions, you have to answer them, right? What you need to do is pause and tell them like, look, I'll make sure I do these end of day reports because one, it helps with my marketing team. Because if I can actually give them proper data, not some bullshit data, I can easily get better leads that I want. Two, even if, let's say, like I just don't feel like doing it, I'll do it because on previous like sales teams, I actually did it even while sleeping because I knew I had to put this data down for the marketing team. It isn't for myself only, but for the marketing team. That way we can make more money together. And the three is, of course, objection handling yourself. Basically, these applicants, you have to act like basically, like think of it as an owner. You have to make sure that they can objection handle themselves. So let's say even if they bullshit, of course, sales reps are going to bullshit for sure. But if they're in a bullshit, at least make it so that you don't know they're bullshitting. Because at the end of the day, if they can do that, they can easily close more deals. Of course, you have to make sure they're compliant. They make sure they're not guaranteeing like the world, but at the same time, making sure that they can actually objection handle people on the spot. Like, hey, like, look, this is going to be this much amount of money. Do you have any questions? And like, yeah, because this, that. I have to speak to my wife. Okay, I get you want to speak to your wife. Is there anything else besides that? So if you do speak to your wife and she said she's like on board with you doing this, would you do it? Does she need to be on this call? Why did you not have her on the call before? Oh, okay, like for example, like if like, you understand that even if she's on call, all that, like you would have done it regardless. Like even if she's not on call, you just want to make sure you're respecting her, right? So do you feel like with everything that we went over, this actually will help you? Okay, no worries. Let's do this. What if you do this right now? Like, would that be the end of the world with you and your wife? Yes, it will. Okay, then no worries. Try to get on a call with her. Like, are you able to call her right now? Like, I don't want to sound pushy at all. Like, I'm not here to push you into a decision. I want to make sure this decision is for you. But I'm not guaranteeing you anything. Like, this could be the worst decision of your life. At the same time, what you need to do is call your wife. Because is she going to be on the business with you? If she's not, honestly, it's better if you do it alone. Because, like, from what I've seen myself with wives and just girlfriends or any, like, partners in general, they want what's the most safest option for you. They might not see this as a safe option. They might see this as a risky option. But if they were on call, they would know this is the safest option for you. So even, like, your own people won't know what you need. Because, like, for example, what I did, and then they gave you a story. So, like, this is basically them objection handling, right? This is not the best objection handling, but this is genuine objection handling. Genuine wins more than actual, like, all these frameworks and all that. Frameworks are there, that way you can actually make a genuine conversation. Because if you don't have a genuine conversation, they can feel that. We're in a world where the trust recession is so low. Like, most of the time, these objections they're giving you is just because they don't trust you. Like, the biggest objection I've gotten in my offer was when I was first starting out as a sales rep, and they were giving me a wife objection just like this, but he just didn't trust me nor the offer. The objection they give is most likely from a top of funnel thing, right? It's most likely marketing's fault. At the same time, if our marketing is on point, there's trust, we don't look scammy, and they go on the call, and then you just lose the deal. Like, the sales reps still have to be on point. They have to be sharp. They have to be very, very compliant. They have to sound smart. They have to actually be there to be cashiers, yes, but like the high-end cashiers where they're basically getting people to pay tens of thousands of dollars into your business. So they gotta be super, like, not pushy, but super, super just there for the person, like caring. Like cashiers that are basically therapists in a sense. Like, just having these questions basically asked to the, person, to the client, that future client of yours. And what you can do, like, is when you first start out, when you first close a person, and then you ask these questions, and then you got the best testimonials, you have to ask these closers to ask these type of questions first to understand, like, the basic logistics side of things, like, okay, how they think, and see if it's actually worth it to close them. Like, I get you want to close, like, closers want to close, but at the same time, you don't want them to have chargebacks. So you can just tell them, like, look, yeah, like, I know you want more commissions, but there's going to be also chargebacks if you close these type of leads. So you have to unravel a bit more. This, that, and third. Like, you have to also make sure that you have that in place where if a client you don't want to work with, you just refund them or don't even let the closer close them. You tell them, like, look, I don't care. I know you want more money, but look, I'll even pay you an extra $200, $300, to even $1,000 just so you don't close them. Because I understand, like, these clients will just give you more headache. and more compliance. So just making sure that you're just having this whole process down to a T. So this is why you have to do this stuff. Like I get that it might be very, very, very minuscule and just like tedious work, but at the end of the day, like this tedious work is what entrepreneurs like. You're a business owner, and the business owners like they like being in control. But at the same time, you have to make sure you have a process where you actually do the very tedious task, but you're the best at, and keep the other things to the people that are really good at it. So I'm ranting off, but just make sure that you're hiring a good sales rep, because a good sales rep, like a really good sales rep, can do a lot for you. Because one, you can have them and like just be there with you. They like, because if you watch Jeremy Haynes, which I can guarantee you, if you watch me, you watch Jeremy Haynes as well, or if not, I'm putting you on. But what he does specifically, he had basically a sales rep with him for 10 years. 10 years. Just think of it in the high ticket sales. Like usually they're just flip flopping, but 10 years, and his sales rep is making hundreds to like $100 to multi-$100,000 in commissions. Think of that. Like even I know offer owners who don't even make that in like a year, and he's making that in a month. So just looking at the scale that he's having, where he's consistently making money for you basically as well. So just know that you need to have these good sales reps be there for you. You have to have that vision. If you yourself are a good good person at all, good offer on business owner, and you don't have these you have all these doubts that could hold your business down, you should actually work on yourself. Because business is like, if you've been in the business game, it is a mindset game. Because the person that just thinks about money, 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 and how he has no money at all will not outwork the person that is just saying, okay, I have all the money in the world and I can just continue to scale. Because the person who just doesn't thinks money is just there and it's just not abundant will not work as much, because they want to keep every money they make. Like I've been in there, I've been in their shoes as well, where it's like, dude, like I just don't know what to do. Like I was in that mindset. But once you actually change that mindset, you'll be so much far better. Like it's just like a night and day difference. What the hell? Oh well, but yeah, my camera just my whatever it is, it just went out. But I digress. So look, you have to appeal to three things as a closer. One, money. Like that's the biggest thing. Like if they're not making money, they're not feeding their family. You just think of it like that. Like you have to make sure that you're making sure that they're getting their family fed. If you can't do that, just don't hire a person, because you're basically taking care of a whole family right there. Time, making sure that they can actually have the time to spend with their family as well, and growth, because they don't want to just stay there and make the same amount of money every single day. They want to make sure they're making the most amount of money every single month. If you can do that, make sure you say that to your sales rep, where it's like, I want to continuously to make you more money. In doing so, you're making me more money. Just like a partnership. Closers are your partners as well. So if you have good closers, you have a good sales rep, you have good partnerships. And like I said in the beginning, know when you have to hire. Because let's say, for example, you spend $1,000 on ads a day, the cost of calls with the $100, you have 10 calls a day, you only need one closer. But then let's say you add more ad spend, you 10x it. You get 30 more calls a day. So when you have 30 more calls a day, you need 3x more closers. So easy thing to actually do is up the ad spend. But what is not easy is actually hiring the people, because usually it takes 1 to 2 weeks at like the fastest to actually hire these sales reps. And the slowest you can have is like 6 weeks. So just know people are slow. Marketing is fast. And why running your own ads? Like, look, like I'll say this for myself. Like I honestly want to help you with the ads as well as make sure that you staff my pipeline. But if you do it yourself, it's way cheaper. I'll tell you that much. And you can actually control this stuff. Like, of course, you still have to do ads, all this, blah, blah, blah. But you're recruiting basically the people that you want. You're not having someone basically just say, oh, these are the people that I have. They like these sales trainers who just basically lie to you saying like, oh, these reps are so good. They're basically placing them from the people that they bought, like people bought into them. So you're not going to have the best sales rep. You're going to just have sales reps that are pretty much dog shit. So if you have dog shit sales reps, so what does that mean about your systems and your teams? It's going to be dog shit as well. So just know that like actually doing it yourself or having an agency, not even just play sales reps, but actually find and recruit sales reps for you through a recruitment process like this, you'll know that they're legit. Because at the end of the day, like organic is okay, but ads is where you find the most scalable process where you can find the most reps, most people, and like through organic, like if you have a good organic, of course you can find sales reps, but like ads is the way. Like, you know, if you find a good sales rep through ads, you can continuously find that same sales rep because you continuously basically target the same person. Just think of it like as ads for your offer. So if you continuously, you know, target that same person, boom, like you're making so much money. But I'm not gonna say like I'm not gonna like bash on these placement agencies. Like there's some good agencies for sure. But at the end of the day, it's like what would you rather have? Like control of like who's the sales rep they're bringing in, or control of like, oh, what is the best sales agency out there? So it's like, you know, pick your poison. Like, would you rather spend an extra few $1,000s a month in ads, which is $2,000-3,000, which these agencies charge you $10,000 for, or just, you know, be a retard. But these are like basically the 6 steps. Like, of course, you build your recruiting funnel, create a friction-based application. So basically whatever I just said before. So this is what I have set in place to actually do that for your business. It's pretty much like a full stack where it's like the marketing, recruiting, operations, because we want to make sure that, yeah, of course you find the sales rep, but how do you actually ramp them up? Because it's not just recruiting and that's it. Like after you find the sales rep, you're fine. No, you have to actually ramp them up. Like how is the best ramp up process? What is the best way to do this? Because look, this is all based off of Jeremy Haynes' recruitment framework. Like I'm not gonna like say like bullshit you saying like, oh, this is all off the dome. Like I'm basically just taking what he's done and basically implementing that to your business, and in a way where it's like marketing them. And I'm not gonna say like, oh, like that's like the worst way of doing things, because it's like you're not gonna reinvent the wheel, just like what you did, what your offer is. It's not reinventing the wheel. You're basically doing something similar, but you're doing it at a massive scale, where it's like, okay, I copied him, but at the end of the day, like I'm just gonna re-implement it, reinvent it, and make it my own style. So this is my own style, where I'm recruiting the operations and making sure that the marketing is also on point, because you don't want to do your own offer and then recruitment on the same side of things. Because once you do that, you might be in like 3, 4, 5, 6, like there's gonna be so much like headache. So I know for a fact that blessings on your mind, and the more things that we do, the more money you will make. So that's everything I have to say. If you want to work with us, you know, I have the link below and you can apply and we can talk it out for sure. And if not, all good. I give out free sauce every single day, every single video, and you can just implement yourself. And at the end of the day, if you implement it, just like how Jeremy says it, you're gonna work with me after. You're gonna buy my stuff. So that's it, and have a great day, brother.